Okay, so I have a 2011 F350, 6.7 diesel, and I need to drop the diesel exhaust fluid tank to replace this sending unit / heater. I dropped the tank a few weeks ago, and it's a bit tricky. I don't know if you can see this. Basically, this end of the sway bar here is basically in the way, and on the differential there's a lip here that's hard to get by, and then there's the skid plate. And the skid plate looks like it hangs over about probably at least 3 inches, so you can't drop the tank straight down. It ended up basically going sideways to get it out. So this time around I'm going to take this off and hope for the best. So anyway, I thought I'd make a video because I didn't see one, and it'll come in handy if someone else needs to do this job. It is a pain because I'm on a gravel driveway with a piece of cardboard, so it's doable. I had it off before, so I can do it again. Okay, so I got this off. You have 2 bolts going up into the frame here, and there's one here, but this mount was broken anyway, so that was easy. And then another 2 here, and then from the bottom you'll see 3 nuts and 3 nuts. So I don't know, I'm wondering how necessary this thing is. Probably weighs 40 pounds or more. But anyway, with that off, looks much easier to drop that tank. I should have did this before. Looks like it might actually come straight down, more or less. This is a bracket for that skid plate, but you can just push that out of the way, I think. So, anyways, I'll update as I go. Okay, a bit of an update here. I have the harness unplugged. You should be able to reach that while it's still attached to the truck and not lowered. And then the other thing you got to get is the line that goes to the injector, and it's kind of hidden behind there. You can't see it right now. This is it. This is the part I actually replaced. So I think I'm gonna have to drop it down a couple of inches to get my hands in there to release that. I've got it secured so the tank doesn't drop. So I'm gonna undo the bolts, and then I'll just slowly let that come down a couple inches, undo that line, and then hopefully just drop it right to the ground, and then I'll have to jack the truck up a few inches to slide it out. At least I had to last time, so I assume I have to this time. And then that's it. So see how it goes. Okay, so a few tips about dropping this. You'll find the filler has 3 5.5 mil bolts that hold that into the box, so you'll have to take those out, take the cap off, slide it through, and then put the cap back on to protect it, and then just push the fill lines, the vent line, just push it through as you drop the tank. Make sure it doesn't get hung up. This is the line. I have this because I replaced this, so this is my old one just to show you. But basically that's going to sit on there, and that's the plug for the heater. So this was in the new one, so I was able to use it with the line hanging there so no dirt gets in. I put the other one in. It's good to have. And that's about it. Okay, so I have the unit replaced. A couple of tips on how to do this. Once you get the pump off and pull this up, you'll see this sitting in the tank probably down about an inch or two, and you have to turn it counterclockwise and pull up, because there's little tabs here that they grab into like a track, so it locks it in. So you have to turn it and pull it up, and then when you put it back in, you'll notice it can only go in one way because two of these are closer together than the other two, so you can't mess that up. But before you take it out, it's a good idea to mark where this pump is going to sit, so you have the top part in the right spot. So what I did is I just marked where these Allen bolts were. I scribed on here, which there's a tab actually on the tank, which you probably can't see, but it seemed to line up with that, so I put a mark there, and all three I marked, so it'll be sitting in the right position when it's together. When you get this, well, when you try to put it back on, there's an arrow. There's an arrow right here, and I think it's supposed to line up with one of these lines on the tank, because it did when I took it off, but it's really tight. I had to use like a hammer and a screwdriver on these lips here to move it. So when I put it back on, it doesn't quite line up, but it's pretty close. I'm not going to keep wailing on it with a hammer. It doesn't seem like a good idea. There is a little vent that's right here that goes in here. It just pops out, so you use your old one, pop it out, put it in the new one. And there's a seal that for some reason, there's a seal that sits in here. There's also a little tiny O-ring that goes in here, although you put it to the bottom of the pump, not in this unit. But when I got the new unit, it had this rubber piece in it already. And then there was also another one in this package that came with these replacements, and then the little O-ring. So you might find you have an extra one of these seals. So I guess if you tried to double it up, you'd know it when you put it together. It wouldn't go. And it comes with new ties, but I just used the old ones. I didn't really have to change them, but the new kit comes with them. And I guess that's about it. I'm ready to put this thing back in, plug it in, and see what happens. Okay, that's it. It's back in place. Another thing probably that's good to mention is the fill line here in the vent. Remember, you gotta take the blue cap off to pass through the opening. I just keep it on. I put it on right after I took it out, so nothing gets in there. Anyway, you can see there's a little clip. It just pushes in a little clip here. But the main thing is when you're installing it, those lines are just made of plastic and they seem to kink. And that's the only advice I'd have, is don't stress too much about it, because they seem to have a way of working themselves out when everything's in place. They look like they were kinked and twisted, and that maybe they'd be blocked. But I mean, keep an eye on it when you're lifting the tank into place. But they're fine now. You can just run your hand over top of them, just above, on the other side of that chassis rail, and it's all good. So I just have to poke this back through and attach it and give it a shot. So that's it. Sorry it's not the greatest video. It's the first one I've tried to do, so I just thought maybe it would help if someone's going through the same thing as I went through, and the videos definitely help. So that's it. Thanks.